Hi guys, how you doing? I want to talk about this week two, project two typographic offspring begin stage. Okay, so in this assignment, what we're going to do, the first thing I want to do is take a look at the schedule itself. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can see that during week two, our our project two typographic offspring begin stage is due on Sunday night of week two. But it's also due to the critique board on Sunday night of week two. If we jump to the critique board, we can see that it's actually being submitted in week three critique. So what you'll do is you'll submit it Sunday night to the Dropbox for Project 2 Typographic Offspring Begin stage, and you'll also submit it into week three critique board on Sunday night of week two, so it's there Monday morning of week three when we get into, and then we can start critique that week. Okay, conversely, your week three, your continuation of typographic offspring assignment is due Sunday night of week three, and then you'll also submit it to the critique board on Sunday night of week three, but you'll submit it over here in week four by Sunday night of week three, so it's there Monday morning of week four, so we can get in Monday morning and start critiquing your work. Okay, hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. I'll try to clarify. But anyways, let's take a look at the assignment itself. What are we going to do? We're going to take two typefaces, we're going to mix them, marry them, and create a third typeface. How do you do that? Well, the example is giving Garamond and Helvetica. Why? Because Garamond is a traditional serif typeface, while Helvetica is a modern sans serif. The visual attributes differ enough that the hybrid offspring typeface will be something that will be visually compelling. I recommend not using two typefaces that are closely similar. I wouldn't even use two serif typefaces. I would use a sans serif and a serif. That's up to you though. As long as the results are compelling, you can do whatever you want. You can use a, I mean, remember, this is experimental typography. You can use a script typeface with a sans serif typeface. You can use a script typeface. You can use a display typeface with a text typeface. Whatever you want. Just the idea is you're going to mix two typefaces to create a third typeface. How do you do that? Well, there's a couple of different things you can do. You can in our example, Garamond and Helvetica, let's call our new typeface Helvetamond. Okay, so in Helvetamond, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can open up Garamond and open up Helvetica in Illustrator and type out the alphabet for each. Okay, up here would be Helvetica and then Garamond. And then you can start looking at both. And I'd say in a perfect world, you would, in your new alphabet, your new typeface, you would include your uppercase and your lowercase letters. Okay, so all 26 letters uppercase, all 26 letters lowercase. If you don't get to the lowercase, I understand completely. If time constraints are an issue, you only get to the uppercase, that's great. But definitely try to include 0 through 9. So you have at least the whole uppercase and letters 0 through 9, or at least the whole lowercase and letters 0 through 9. In a perfect world, you'll have uppercase and lowercase letters 0 through 9. That would be optimal for inclusion in your student portfolio, because as a portfolio reviewer will look at this, they'll be looking at a complete typeface, which of course would include uppercase and lowercase letters. Okay, another way to approach this is this. You can print out Helvetica on one sheet, print out Garamond on the other, take your sketchbook and start sketching your third typeface. Okay, then scan that, bring it into Illustrator, go through it with your pen tool, create your new typeface, okay, uppercase, lowercase letters and numbers 0 through 9 with the new typeface that you have sketched out. Then it's digitized, okay? So the point is that you can get here any way you think is the best way for you to get here, as long as it's a digital version. Sketches aren't going to work because we're going to create posters out of this, all right? So again, whatever way you get to your final typeface, that's up to you. I mean, if you go right into Illustrator and start creating right in Illustrator, that's great. So long as there is a finished typeface with at least A through Z uppercase and letters 0 through 9, or A through Z lowercase and letters 0 through 9. In a perfect world, and I would shoot for this, guys. A lot of you said in your introductions you're shooting for portfolio work in this class. I would definitely include uppercase A through Z, lowercase A through Z, and numbers 0 through 9. Okay, so, and we see there's two parts of this. So during week two, we have a typographic offspring begin phase. All right, that's what I would shoot for the begin phase. I would shoot for digitizing your new hybrid typeface, getting it in Illustrator, getting it complete. All right, by Sunday night of week 2, which means you submit it and then you submit it to week 3 critique. Okay, so that would be your digital alphabets and your new digital typeface. All right. Then during week 3, we can see we have the Project 2 Typographic Offspring final phase. And in that phase during week 3, I would move to start creating the posters. Let's take a look at the posters, see what's expected there. So in the posters, once you have created your new Offspring typeface, you'll design two 18 by 24 posters, one to display the new typeface and another to promote the typeface. What's the difference? Let's take a look. This would be an example of it. You're displaying your typeface. You're just showing the letters and the numbers. Okay. And note this is presented in a very compelling way using color, reverse, background, black, color on black, using differences in scale, placement, weight, etc. So you've got some wonderful techniques going on here to make this a compelling poster showing your new typeface. Okay, so that would be the display poster. And then the next is to promote the typeface. So what's the difference between displaying and promoting? This would be your display. Okay, and then promoting the new typeface would be something a little more dynamic, where you actually promote the typeface, giving the name of the typeface, okay, giving the year and your name as the type designer, and then giving a paragraph based on the information that we need to know and how you would use the typeface and the origin of the typeface and the concept behind the typeface, an informational paragraph. All right. Now, in your promotion poster, I would use your new typeface in your headlines, in your subheads, and also your years and your numbers. But don't set your type, of course, in your new typeface, because you'll be setting letter by letter, and that's going to take quite some time. So set your type in one typeface or the other of the two that you have picked. Okay, and I think that would be the most expeditious way to approach that. So that, in a nutshell, is how we're going to do this assignment. All right, it's going to take some time, guys. So really think about how your workflow. Think about how you're going to get to your new typeface, whether it be as I recommended or I mentioned, you take a look at both. Okay, you print out both or put both up on your screen. You take your sketch pad and you sketch the new one. Scan that into Illustrator, go through it with your pen tool, create your new letter forms, or go straight into Illustrator, take a look at Helvetica and Garamond, and decide which, you can build a new typeface by removing parts or adding parts to one of those existing typefaces. For example, you can add serifs, take the serifs off Garamond and add them to Helvetica. Do you see what I'm saying? Or it might be interesting to remove the serifs from Garamond to have a third typeface that is Garamond oriented, but no serifs like Helvetica. Okay, so I'm trying to give you some options here and ways to think about how to develop your new typeface. But the idea here is that at the end of the week we have a complete new typeface. And as I said, in a perfect world, A to Z uppercase, A to Z lowercase, 0 through 9 numbers. All right. So that would be the schedule we're shooting for, guys. If you have any questions at all, or if I can clarify anything, please let me know and I'll be glad to do so. All right. Thanks, guys.